Hello, Raleigh. This is citizen reporter Robert Courts coming to you from the Your Backyard News Network. And I am thrilled today to spend some time with a woman that I know, like, and trust and admire greatly, my friend Carolyn Mama Kai Sanders. Mama Kai, thank you for spending time with me today.
Robert, it's always an honor. It's another amazing day in paradise, and it's always makes it even more like paradise when I get to spend some time with you.
Well, back at you, Mama Kai. I don't nearly get the opportunity to spend as much time as I would like with you, but every time we get together, it's a it's a feeling of love and respect. It's also I admire your advocacy so much, your commitment to honesty, transparency, and frankly, telling it like it is admirable and rare indeed.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's been a long journey to be able to be comfortable enough to do that. So I definitely respect you saying that.
Well, thank you. For those of you who are only meeting Mama Kai for the first time, I encourage you to look back at some of our previous videos. But Mama Kai is Raleigh's champion for the unhoused. She lives it, she breathes it, she is fighting for it. This is her son, Wisdom. Hey, Wisdom.
Hi.
Um, but Mama Kai, you got some special news to share with us today, and I appreciate you let the YBY News Network break it for you. Would you share that with us, please?
Yeah. Well, I've been talking about it for a while now, and but it's never been anything official. But I am submitting my paperwork to become the next mayor of Raleigh.
Wow. Little late to the game, but what a wonderful opportunity for Raleigh. Can you tell us then what your platform is as a candidate for mayor?
Sure. Honestly, I don't feel like I'm late to the game. I started this journey about 2 years ago,
Hmm.
and just all the places that God has put me in has prepared me for this moment, and submitting my paperwork at this time is very intentional
Hmm.
because, I mean, considering Eugene's interview and just a lot of things that people have gone through, because the things that, some of the other candidates are experiencing, I think it's an ideal time. My platform is leading as a mom, a matriarch, and a mayor with compassion and neuroscience. And I think people may wonder, like, what does that mean? And I'm glad they do. Um, First of all, I'm not a politician, and I will stand on that. And I'm grateful because I don't like the way politics are.
Hmm.
They're very divisive, and among other things. And with my experiences over the last couple of years, what I realized is that the decisions that are being made by leaders right now are going to affect Wisdom when he's an adult.
Hmm.
And so I was like, well, what does that mean? What kind of world, if things don't change, they're going to go from bad to worse, you know? And so that was one of the reasons that I decided to follow that call
Nice.
to be to run for mayor. I can't run for matriarch of the city, but that's the way that I look at
Oh.
it because I'm not a politician.
Well, before moving forward, I see a lot of people jumping into the city council race without an iota of experience in city government, where you conversely have a great deal of time and energy spent in advocating. Could you tell us a little bit about your history as involved with the city government?
Oh my goodness, yes. Well, one of the big complaints that people have is citizen engagement about the city is citizen engagement or community engagement. And what I found is that it's just as important for me to be engaged with the government as it is for the government to be engaged with me.
Nice.
And so I get emails. I've signed up for different email streams of things that interest me. I actually get a email that comes through Wake County where they have community events. And so I try to be in as many places as I can to meet as many people as I can. Because even if you're just a citizen, like the decisions that are being made around the county, around the city through different counselors, they're going to affect you in some way, shape, or form. We don't exist in an island, you know?
Yes.
And even like one of the things that really stood out to me was the interview that you did with Christina and Noah. and how, you know, Oppidan went and purchased the land in Durham to protect our watershed, which most people probably don't even realize is a thing, you know? And so I've just tried to be where I could be, listen to who I could listen to learn what I could learn. But I also, last year, I participated in a course that's offered by the North Carolina League of Conservation Voters. It's called, or in short, NCLCV. That's called Boards and Commissions Fellowship, which was a 6-month commitment,
Mhm.
one Saturday a month for about 5 or 6 hours, where we were taught what it takes to be in a leadership position. On top of that, I took Raleigh Neighborhood College earlier this year, and I just started Citizens Leadership Academy. And tonight, I actually go to Planning Academy. And
Well,
so
let me
those
interrupt you.
last three, I'm
Um,
sorry.
well, I didn't mean to interrupt you, and I'm sorry, I
No
didn't mean
worries.
to interrupt you, but that education, your commitment to education and learning is well established there. And I didn't mean to cut one off, but you're also actively engaged. We first met because you stand up in the council at public comments 4 dozen times. Um, and you served on the homeless or the unhoused task force. Can you
Yep.
remind us about that, please, Mama Kai?
Yeah, the homelessness task force. Last year, the city and county convened a group of people from the community. I was there to represent lived experience, even though I was living the experience. It was an 8-month commitment. It was a 9-month commitment. We didn't meet last December, went from May to January, and nothing happened. Even though I presented a really feasible and viable plan during our second meeting, at the urging and direction of the mayor, and it was pretty much ignored. And so, if you look online at, is it CBS 17? I think it is. I'm not sure what the stations are, but I did an interview twice. And in my second interview, I basically said, I don't expect nothing to happen. And that's exactly what happened, that
Well,
they
let
were
me
just doing it for service.
So you educated yourself. You've taken the time to lift the voices up at public comments, and you've actually joined the board or commission. You are a true advocate, but more importantly, Mama Kai, is you don't stop. You keep pushing. And it seems to me that maybe mayor is the next best step for you.
It is, simply because I think what sets me apart, there are two things in particular that set me apart from the other candidates. And the other candidates are great. They've got lots of experience in so many different areas. But the two things that I don't see from them is, one, they're not talking about eliminating homelessness.
Mm.
Everybody wants to focus on affordable housing, but affordable housing doesn't necessarily mean ending homelessness. It doesn't even mean that people who are homeless and working can even afford it. Because if you're talking about building more units at 80% AMI, that means a person has to be earning, or a family has to be earning $80,000 a year in order to qualify for that. So that's not affordable housing. Still very many people, right? And so that's the one thing. I'm willing to talk about affordable housing. It's not just affecting the businesses downtown. There are other places in the city that are being affected. There's just an article in the newspaper about the panhandling that's going on New Bern Avenue, and nobody is going out and talking to those businesses. But there was a business owner that was quoted in that, saying how the panhandling hurts their business. And so if we're not mindful of all businesses, not just the ones downtown, then we really aren't being fair in our leadership, and we're not being mindful in our leadership. That's the first thing. The second thing is that I'm a systems thinker.
Mm.
And what that means is that I'm not satisfied with the system the way it is, but in order to create a new system, you have to in order to quote unquote fix the system, which is actually not broken, you actually have to create a new system. So simultaneously, as I serve as mayor, I will be building a system that works, so we can have the proof, so it eventually can kind of come in and infiltrate. And if I've got another moment, I'd love to share an example of what that looks like.
Please.
So there are three examples that I have of what building a new system looks like. One of them is the Montgomery bus boycott, for people who are familiar with it. It was where literally communities dismantled the bus system in Montgomery, Alabama, because of Rosa Parks being arrested for not moving to the back of the bus. So in order to change that system, they literally built another system by creating their own ride shares, by people walking to where they needed to go instead of taking the bus, and it forced that bus system to change. The other one that I think of is actually Chasta Hamilton. She's a local business owner at Stage Door Dance.
Mm-hmm.
Her big thing was the toxic nature of competitive dance, and she completely redesigned her dance studio so it's non-competitive. And while that hasn't taken off for in realms where a whole lot of other people are doing it, it is working phenomenally for her and for the youth that they serve, you
And
know?
fine example. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah. And then the last one is equity before birth. We have a huge disparity in the amount of Black and brown moms and infants who are losing their lives at birth and within the first year of life. And so equity before birth is working to change that number, because from what we know, over 80% of them were preventable, and 80% of those losses of life were preventable. And so they provide doula services, they help with maternal leave pay and things of that nature. And so just within our own community, we see systems being built to change how the current system that's not working for everyone can change and be effective.
Well, those are three fine examples, Mama Kai. So she's got the knowledge, she has the experience, she has the tenacity. Aside from that, what else do you have that you think will help you win this election?
I have compassion in neuroscience, and that's why I'm leading with it. And just to be clear about what that means is that both of those words denote a need.
Mm.
And so when people come at us in a certain kind of way, there is generally what the reason why they're coming at us generally has nothing to do for that particular reason. It actually has to do with something that goes far back. It's just that whatever experience that they had that triggered that need needs to be met. And a lot of people don't even realize that. And so, what I feel I bring to the table that nobody else is talking about is with compassion, it's understanding that people have a need,
Mm-hmm.
that we need to have a strong desire to alleviate the suffering. And even if we can't, we need to acknowledge it and be honest about it. And also that if in the instances where we can provide immediate mercy, that is the mercy we give, the mercy that's needed versus the mercy that we want to give, because then it's not really mercy.
Mama Kai, I'm going to pause here. This is
Mhm.
uniquely one of the top three things you've taught me. The mercy given versus the mercy needed. Often, while the intention is there, the correct intention and the right intention to build a system to help anyone, it's often this is what you get. This is what we're offering you. This is all, versus taking the time and the compassion to say, what do you need, and helping me find that. Did I do that justice?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that is why I'm one of the biggest fans of Mama Kai. In our last remaining minute, Mama Kai, if we have a fan out there that wants to get in touch with you, how would they do that?
Yeah. I'm on Instagram as Mama Kai, or Kara, KARALYNN Sanders. Um, Anybody can find me. The best way to probably find me would be through my blog. Currently my blog that I've been using the most is Love Enterprises Presents, and it's l.u.v. Enterprises Presents on Blogspot. So, but you should be able to find me.
Any last words?
Just that neuroscience simply means that when people are acting out of their fight, flight, freeze, or please, it just means that a need needs to be met. And if we can meet people where we are, travel a little upstream to get to what their real need is with compassion and meet it, then we'll have a better world. And I know that I'm the leader that could do that.
Well, and I'm one of your followers, Mama Kai. Thank you for all that you do for Raleigh and beyond, because I know Wake County, and I even know you travel home sometimes to help and support. So, in closing, Raleigh, Mama Kai Sanders running for mayor. All this and more and wisdom is in your backyard. Check them out. Let's wave them out. See you guys soon.